More opportunities, creativity, and learning into their classrooms every day. It's iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. It's powered by Donors Choose. Keep listening as we recognize and reward inspiring educators. Learn more, iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Welcome back, Nordowin, for PA 9 to noon. Final hour upon us. Covering the Minnesota Twins for The Athletic is Dan Hayes, and he's currently out west, I believe, covering the baseball club. They lose 4-2 to the Athletics yesterday. How you doing, Dan?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. Man, we needed that one last night, brother. We couldn't solve Gauge Jump until it was getting late. What a name, by the way, Gauge Jump. But just a tough outing offensively in particular for the baseball team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And look, Gauge Jump, I know the Athletics are high on him. And the Twins got that night from him because you saw the stuff. The stuff's electric. Like, he's 96 from the left side and pairs it with like an 86-mile-an-hour curveball, and that tunnel is really hard. But this is a guy that, like, he's walked 4.4 per 9 this season. And I'm talking to people with the Athletics, and there's literally 2 of them because nobody cares about this team. You know, he has these nights where, like, you can tell how it's going to go pretty early because if he's commanding the fastball and he's commanding the curveball, you're in for it. And the Twins certainly were. I mean, look, there was one point where he had 18 called strikes and 14 swings and misses or 13 swings and misses because he'd plant the fastball and hit the zone. And you're going to, like, your plan going in with a guy that walks 4.4 per 9 is make him earn it, right? You want him to throw strikes and not give him freebies.
Yeah.
And he earned it early on. And like, once he hits the zone early, you start swinging because you think it's going to be in there, and that allows him to start expanding. And for a while, it looked like he had no-hit stuff. I mean, the one hit that they got was that Royce Lewis pop-up on the infield in the first inning. Finally, Royce Lewis got a legitimate hit to start the 7th inning. But, I mean, it was a tough night for a team that had scored 9 runs the night before and looked great at the plate. So it's hard. I don't like the days where you, like, because it always sounds like you're saying, oh, the Twins should have done more. I don't know what you do there because, like, they had a sound plan, and the guy just finally was, like, his command was, and he's done that this year. They like what he's a rookie. They like what they see, and I can see it because, man, it was like when you're playing the team like the A's, that's 52 and 81, you're expecting the Twins or any team to roll over that team, and then you see an arm like that, and it definitely wakes you up a little bit, and you're like, oh, whoa, where did this come from? So it was unfortunate because the Twins are in a spot where they need every victory right now, and they just had nothing until that 7th inning.
No, you're dead on though, and I wasn't necessarily trying to flippantly dismiss Jump, but the key.
No, I know.
No, but to that end though, he'd kind of been up and down. That's how young kids work, and I thought maybe we were catching him on one of those down spots after he had a tough outing just a handful of days ago. But the expectation for this team, Dan, and the National League record and all of that, they've struggled in interleague. This team beats the heck out of teams like the A's. And in a spot out west, the opportunity to put some bats together and score runs, I just thought they might light it up a little bit in Sacramento.
I was of the same mindset. It was definitely, when you think about everything that happened last night, it was one of those games where you walk out of the park going, what the hell just happened? It was, I mean, the Twins, they don't just beat up on the A's. They're killing the American League, which I guess, the whole league is pretty weak this year. But I mean, they beat the Red Sox, I think 5 out of 7. I mean, they're playing very good baseball against the AL. I think they're now 48 and 40 overall against the AL, and they're just terrible against the National League, who is the superior league. The Twins are 16 and 29 against the NL this year, and that's why they're in the spot they are. But you came in going, man, absolute minimum is to win a series against the Athletics, but you hope that you somewhere in your mind, you're like, man, a sweep would be great. And now here they are going into the rubber match on Wednesday night, and they need a victory, and they're facing another good young arm from the A's. And the A's have basically two starters who they're pretty excited about, and the Twins will get both of them. Fortunately, he's a righty, and it's, your chances are better, but I mean, it's still going to be probably the best thing the A's have to throw at them.
Yeah, one more today against the Athletics before they come home with some fun division games. I got to hit you with this, though, and I don't know if you know the entire history of baseball, but Taj Bradley apparently threw an immaculate inning yesterday. I believe it was the fifth, 3 up, 3 down, 9 pitches. I did not know this, Dan. I think an immaculate inning is less frequent than a no-hitter. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody brought that up. I did a fantasy football draft over the weekend, and when we were in San Diego, and I did know it, and I was like, because they said it's more infrequent than a perfect game. I was like, no. There's only been 24 of those. I was like, but this was the 123rd immaculate inning. Now, granted, record keeping is not perfect on this. It's like we don't have game trackers that went back in the 1920s that show pitch by pitch by pitch, right? So MLB, I would say this is inexact on it, but they seem to have a solid list. The Twins may have had the first one in franchise history, but they've had 12 guys that have struck out 3 batters in an inning before. And again, because the record keeping isn't perfect, nobody could say with certainty last night that was the first one in Twins history. I know the broadcast said it. As far as the list MLB keeps, that's what everybody believes, but multiple MLB stats people behind the scenes couldn't 100% confirm it. But it's three pitches, 3 strikes to all 3 batters, 9 pitches, and Taj Bradley did it. And man, he looked electric. And it's rough. He gives up 4 runs last night. I'm not sure where the Athletics got those 4. He made 3 mistakes, and they made him pay for it. But he was outstanding all night, throwing 100, getting good run on his cutter. Good, his split looked good. Swings and misses, planting pitches. His command was outstanding, and that inning was just this perfect mix of guys taking pitches. You saw Bolte, the last guy that batted, took all 3 pitches, and Bradley dotted every edge, and it was beautiful. I asked Victor Caratini after the game if he knew what was going on, and he said it's a really weird game when the guy gives up 4 runs and you're saying it was a really, really good start, but that was an outstanding start. He's like, he's ahead of guys all day. He was attacking. Everything we asked him to do, he did. And he mentioned how one inning, it was just perfect going on and on. I was like, well, did you know that was an immaculate inning in progress? And Caratini said, yeah, that's why I called a fastball for the last ball. He's like, best pitch, screw it. And he didn't say screw it. He said best pitch. And he's like, we're going to win, or we're going to go with this right here. And it was 100 at the bottom of the zone, and Bolte had no shot. So it's a fun stat. The Twins actually had an immaculate inning thrown at them in Cleveland last month by Gavin Williams.
Yeah.
And they had one a couple of years ago in Chicago, but it's very, very, very rare.
Yeah, it is indeed. So everybody listening, just keep that in your back pocket for trivia nights. An immaculate inning is more infrequent than a no-hitter. Now, Dan, you probably always keep this in your drafts as you write for the team. Byron Buxton left the game, ... In this particular case, it just kind of sounds like just this ongoing hip thing. It's going to be that way the entire year. Just buckle up and get used to it. Do we have any updates on Buck?
Just that it was discomfort. The way it's set up in Sacramento, the training room is nowhere near the clubhouse, so they didn't have a quick update post game other than he left with right hip discomfort.
Okay.
It just didn't look right. That ball was hit towards the gap, and Buck, just couldn't go down and get it. And that looked odd. It just didn't look right. He, usually if he's not going to get that ball just by picking it up, he's going to slide and get to it. And it felt like the body just locked in place, the hip locked in place, and was like, don't do this. And it scooted under and went for a triple. And other than they're going to, he was going to be off Wednesday no matter what. That's what they were saying, was that they were going to give him the day because it meant 2 days of rest. And it's clearly something that they're trying to deal with on a daily basis. This is something that he got the shot a couple weeks ago, went on the IL, came off the IL, and he's been good, but he'll tell you it's a work in progress at all times. And, I guess it means it's prone to these kind of moments. And it's tough because Byron Buxton has not been the all-star version of himself since the All-Star game. He's played 18 games since the All-Star game, been on the IL twice. He's got a 477 OPS in those 18 games. And, it's the Twins are the way they're built is it's a thin roster that needs their best players to be performing. And since the All-Star break, Byron Buxton has a 477 OPS. Joe Ryan had, just the 3 starts and a 9.39 ERA in those 3 starts. And, we're starting to see a little bit of life from him as far as getting back. But, when 2 of your best are struggling or, beat up, and you're without Pablo Lopez too, it really makes it difficult. It increases the level of difficulty for this team. They need Byron Buxton to be performing, and so far they haven't been able to get it.
Yeah, time for a few more for Dan Hayes, covers the Minnesota Twins for The Athletic. Follow him on X as we do, at Dan Hayes MLB. Is there, we mentioned the kind of the power imbalance between the two leagues. It's been a topic of conversation here 9 to noon quite a bit. Just the Twins are 13 games under 500 against the NL. They still do have a series in the Bay at San Francisco later on next month, but they've been dominating, as you mentioned, dominating the AL. So with the White Sox in town, and then you get Detroit, and I think it's just it's home and home, away and away with those two teams over the next couple weeks. Can you sell some hope with the divisional matchups and their performances against the AL this year to say, 3 games out, it's muddy, there's quagmire with the wild card race and such, but the Twins are still at this stage very game in terms of being a factor in that?
They are, and that's the part that's weird, because you have nights like last night where it's frustrating and disappointing if you're a fan, just because it's right there and they can't seem to get over the hump. And they've had this problem all year where they get to 500 and then they drop back down immediately. But it doesn't change the fact that they're still hanging around, and that it's baseball, and baseball's stupid, and it defies logic at all times, and anything can happen. And so you can't say, oh man, it's over, right? But 2 years ago, I think Detroit was 64 and 68. And I remember they were playing the White Sox in a series, and looking up and seeing it and going, what a useless series. I was home in Chicago. I was like, 2 teams dead in the water, and Detroit caught fire and made the playoffs and made some noise. They beat Houston in that first round. And then obviously we saw what they did last year. But so you really can't ever turn it off and say, oh, they're done. But it certainly is something that so when you see 15 games coming up against the division, this is their chance to kind of make hay and play their way back in, because even with as good as the White Sox have played, they're still 5.5 up on the Twins right now. So even that's not totally out of the realm of possibility with 6 games coming up. But, the Twins need to find that next level. And right now, I mean, there's 29 games to go in the season. And if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it right now. But you look at the offense and guys that were doing it before have struggled. Ryan Jeffers is a 674 OPS in August. Trevor Larnach is sub 500. Everywhere you look, there's only maybe 2 or 3 guys. I think Alan Roden's got an 859 OPS in August. Luke Keeschel and Josh Bell are above 900, I believe. Kalen Culpepper's been really solid since he's come up. Like he's hitting 333 and giving them a spark at shortstop. But they need consistency from more guys. They need, Jeffers and Royce Lewis to get back on it and get going again, because somebody's got to drive in the guys getting on base. And this team was really good with its offense in the first half, and we have not seen the offense be as good as it was basically since Byron Buxton started to get beat up.
All right, let me hit you with this, because you're a soothsayer, you know the team, you know the fan base. In the article that you wrote yesterday, following the loss and with updates and stuff, the very first paragraph, so someone doesn't even have to read the whole article, although we always encourage people subscribe, read the whole thing. You wrote that after Buxton leaves, the team is in wait-and-see mode, while its fan base is hysterical about top prospect Walter Jenkins. Well, it's interesting that you wrote that last night, because I got 6 text messages saying, hey, Nords, ask Dan Hayes what the hell's going on with Walter Jenkins. Anything there?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, everybody wants Walker Jenkins. Like, he is, the name even sounds like the part, right? And it's something where it feels like he definitely has played his way into position where he should be considered right now. But I don't know if they're going to make the move or not. He's one of the questions coming in was, would he have enough power, and where was the power coming? And in August, he's hit 7 home runs. He only has 11 in the year, and that doesn't stand out. It's still a guy who only, despite being in AAA for a year now, has only played 91 games there, and they haven't made the move yet. I don't know. It feels like it's time, especially when you don't know what you're going to get from Byron Buxton, but I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. It's hard to say. It feels like it's the right time that he should be here. You see what Kalen Culpepper has done since he's come up.
Yep.
But I don't know that they're going to put Byron Buxton on the IL. If they put Byron Buxton on the IL, I think it's like that's who you go to. Even though he's not on the 40-man roster, I feel like he's shown what you want to see from him. His plate discipline's good, his power's good, but they haven't made that move yet. And as of last night, it did not seem like there had been any indication he was coming. They have 1 game left here. They have Thursday off. They play Friday. They play Friday starting at home. So I don't know if they were going to make the move to bring him out here. It didn't seem likely as of last night. And, it's a difficult spot. Like when you see it, you understand why fans want him. You absolutely see it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a top 15 prospect, and he's a 5-tool player. He even saved a fainting child at St. Paul last month. Caught him, ran him off the field. This guy looks like a superhero and acts like a superhero, right? And so you get it. You do get it. And I can understand why fans want to see him. I want to see him. So I don't know what the answer is, whether or not he'll be up or not. So it's definitely it's a confounding situation, because you want to see it, but you don't know if they're doing that right now.
Hey, thanks for joining this morning, but keep up the great work with the Twins, as I know you will. We'll wait for you to have that article ready for when Walker takes the green line over to Target Field, and we'll go from there.
All right. Hey, thanks, Noto.
Thanks, man. That's Dan Hayes, covers the Twins for The Athletic. Follow him as we do at Dan Hayes MLB. Walker Jenkins, maybe we got a little home stretch and a couple days for Buck to rest. Wouldn't be that tough to get him over to Target Field. Something to think about. But regardless, a missed opportunity last night. Still a chance to meet Lotham before they come home. And again, it's been so interesting to watch the unbelievable disparity between the two leagues, and still really in a mediocre AL, how much is still in front of the baseball team. When we return, maybe a bit of news. We'll jump into a State Fair preview and continue rolling here. Final hour. It's 9 to noon on The Fan.
You're listening to Eric Nordquist in for Paul Allen on The Fan.
At Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. And go to the website for concert details, expos, all sorts of things, poker, blackjack, table games all year round. You get it. It's Canterbury Park in Shakopee, CanterburyPark.com.
Number 1.
We all saw the video out of Cincinnati, and this is the worst nightmare. And it can happen. We talk about playing players in preseason. What if they get hurt? They can get hurt doing just about anything in practice or walking to their car. Thankfully, the worst is not the worst for Jamar Chase. Did you see the video of him?
Yeah, I saw him got clipped, right?
It looked like a nightmare scenario. It was little to no contact. I mean, there was some legs jumbling, but it was more of the landing. He went down, grabbed his knee. Worst case scenario that no one wants to see. Seems like he's okay. Jamar Chase said that he's fine, which doesn't mean much of anything. But then I was
fine.
I was trying to go practice today. I was trying to get back in, y'all. I promise. That was a quote from Jamar. But that video looked brutal, and it looked like the season might be over before it even started for the Bengals and Jamar Chase. But no, he seems like he's okay.
Well, the Bengals, I mean, whether it's him, and he's been, I mean, unless somebody can remind me, I think Jamar's been basically fully healthy and available for most, if not his entire career. Nothing serious, I don't believe. But the injuries with Burrow and the injuries with that team, and just stock going up, skyrocketing in 2021, like a lot of stocks actually in the real world. There were some good old days when in the investing world in general, but they go to the Super Bowl after the 21 season, and it's just been nothing but malaise since. So, yeah, good to hear that Jamar is still healthy. That's awesome. Go Bengals. I don't really care if they...
Yeah, who cares? Did you hear that Scotty Scheffler battled through last week's BMW Championship with hand, foot, and mouth disease?
Hand, foot, and mouth?
And he was playing, which, by the way, he shot 7 under and was tied for 12th with hand, foot, and mouth. He says he's 95% recovered.
Does he spend a lot of time in a daycare?
He's got kids, and they probably spend time in a daycare.
Man, it's getting to be that season, too.
Yeah, it is.
Whether it's croup, it's hand, foot, and mouth, there's some sort of cold going around. Can't these babies blow their noses and wash their hands and keep their germs to themselves?
Gosh, who's taking care of these kids anyways? That's a joke because my gal does. Hand, foot, and mouth, he's heading into the Tour Championship, which he's off Thursday, but 95%. And he said, quote, good. I'd say I'm at like 95%. The only thing is maybe just a couple sores in my throat. Yuck. Other than that, I feel really good. Is this his flu game if he goes and wins this thing?
Hand, foot, and mouth game. Good for him. No, Scotty's... Would you say Scotty's had a tough year? I mean, it just feels from a putting standpoint, like the big time or big moment shot making for him, for a guy, and it's crazy to say this, he's finishing, it feels like, top 5 in every tournament he's in.
Yeah.
But it's just been so close so far type of situation for Scotty this year.
I mean, he's at the level where if he doesn't win a major, people go, what's that about?
Has he lost it? I don't think
I don't think so either.
Hand, foot, and mouth, though. Ugh.
Gross.
Number 3.
The SEC did something good, and we like to rip them as Northerners, as Midwesterners. Big Ten's better, but it's just different in the SEC. Well, they did something good because this rule about players coming back that didn't make NFL rosters, but they're still eligible for college somehow. I didn't even know that was possible. But the SEC came out and declared some rules now as far as rostering these. Rule 1, previously declared for the NFL, NBA, or WNBA draft, they cannot have an athlete that has previously declared for NFL, NBA, or WNBA and did not appropriately withdraw. They cannot have an athlete who signed a contract with an NFL, NBA, G League, or WNBA team.
Yeah.
Or has been listed on an NFL, NBA, G League, WNBA roster. This is the right move. And good on the SEC for taking a stand. I'm sure there are schools that were jumping at the bit for some of these guys who were cut or let go. Said, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars to come play one more year at college just for the fun of it. Good for the SEC to put their foot down and do something right.
Does it say that there is any, because Ron was talking about this with me in terms of, not sure if there's a certain penalty or what it is in relation to those 2 NFL players who played for Kiffin at Ole Miss and then were either waived or left their NFL teams to return to LSU. And so clearly, whether it was the Big Ten doing it yesterday or the day before, and now the SEC, they're trying to battle that on the front end. There was some court injunction, a loophole of sorts, and they're scrambling to close that loophole. But does it say if there's a penalty?
Well, it says in the article that I'm reading, Commissioner Greg Sankey has full authority to enforce it with penalties.
Okay.
It does not say
But there's no articulation
what.
of the penalties.
Yeah, the announcement has stated Sankey is authorized to enforce this expectation with penalties against member institutions to be announced.
All right. Yeah, I for one, I've never, if a player declares themselves eligible for the NBA draft, and they go through, their version of the combine process and interviews and just agents sniffing around, and they come to the conclusion, well, you're not going to be drafted, dude. So you can get a little tryout, maybe a hook on with a team, get some Vegas Summer League action, but you ain't playing. So either get to know what Eastern Europe looks like this time of year, or
start learning Chinese.
Maybe you can just backtrack, undeclare, and go back to college. So I do like the ability to pull out. I think you mentioned in that verbiage, properly withdraw. And so that's a good thing. But yeah, it's kind of nonsensical. And I referenced an article Chip Scoggins wrote in the Star Tribune, just the weird spot that a college football player can make $500,000 in NIL. So I'm all in favor of that. But then they potentially have a significant decision to make if they're feeling the vibes that they're a 5th or a 6th round pick, specifically like a quarterback, for instance, where late round QBs, a good team that's constantly in the mix, has a long time established starter, you're not playing. So practice squad, backup territory, and you can make a couple of nice dollars doing that. But there will be some people that roll in, and earlier in their NFL career, they're making less than they made in college. And so will that figure itself out? Part of it will. Players will just maybe stay an extra year in college, and then so that decision-making process changes a bit. But just kind of an odd thing where we have players on the Minnesota Vikings right now that made more money last year in college than they'll make on a practice squad or back of the roster contributor. Just kind of an odd react. But yes, going backwards, I just want to go back to school. I think that was a good movie with Rodney Dangerfield. But I don't like the idea of it in practice for pro athletes. You got one more, maybe?
I do.
Okay.
Number 4.
I have a couple more if we can. In our pre-show text that we do prep the show.
Anything soccer related?
Not today. Not that I want to talk. I mean, Spurs play at 1:45. I'm going to watch that.
I shouldn't have brought it up. World Cup's over, okay?
It is. In our pre-show text, because we do prep the show, we talk about what you need from me. And in that text, you said, NFC North pack snacks. Give me some bits on your favorite team, and we'll talk trash about them.
Yeah.
And funny, we've got like 23 minutes left in the show, and no mention of pack snacks in this show. So
it's true.
So I'm going to fill it right now.
It's one of my favorite things to do is make you prep for something and then just leave it on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, exactly. So pack snacks. I'm just going to file it all down into one talker.
Okay.
Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, had a couple interesting notes. For one, they're preparing for the scenario of Josh Jacobs being suspended just to cover all their bases. Says he's confident in the running back room behind Jacobs, which I like Marshawn Lloyd as well, but doesn't rule out an additional move. They'll tackle it if/when something happens. He also said he would love to get an extension with Tucker Kraft before week 1. He said, quote, "We're excited for what Tuck's going to do for us this year and in the future." And then he also said there's joint practices starting today with the Arizona Cardinals. Someone asked if he's going to break up a fight between the two brothers. He said, "No, I'm going to let it go, but I've got my money on my guy."
So,
lot to break down.
Jacobs was arrested in May, and I believe there were some nasty allegations there, right? Domestic abuse related, potentially?
Yes. Now, I don't think
Has there been any advancement to that?
To my knowledge, which admittedly is not a lot, so grain of salt here.
A way to pay attention to your favorite team.
Well, it's just I don't want to dig into legal. As far as I know, nothing actually came to fruition as far as they denied it immediately. They put out statements and said this is unequivocally false, and we're going to prove that it's unequivocally false. And then I think it just kind of is either in settlement hell or I'm not sure what's going on. But nothing was ever formally
But a possibility
finalized.
of an extension, even via Goody.
Suspension. Yes.
Via Goody.
Yep, that seems to be on. Because the NFL can just go, well, we don't care if you were charged or not. We're just going to suspend you regardless. So yeah, that's what's going on. Joint practices today in Green Bay with
Who you got?
the Cardinals. LaFleur on LaFleur terrorism.
There's probably going to be a lot of cutesy brother stuff, isn't there?
100%.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the middle, Tucker Kraft's looking good. O-line smooth.
Not to mention that, but then you've got Bo Melton versus Cardinals cornerback Max Melton, brother on brother and one-on-ones today.
Really?
So you've got more cutesy brother stuff from Green Bay.
That's going to be terrific. Can't wait to hear more about that.
I've got one
Your
more.
team's going to be good.
One more quick one.
Okay.
Number 5.
Since we're going to do State Fair preview, did you know that I found this out on social media, and I don't know if it's not a free spot. Do you know that Peachy's, the Amish Donuts place, is now adding a second truck? And there will be a second line at the State Fair this year. So instead of waiting 4 hours for donuts, you might be waiting 2, unless that line doubles because more people know that there's 2 trucks, and now you've got 2 4-hour lines. But yes,
Oh my gosh.
2 trucks for Amish Donuts this year. Your thoughts? Have you ever had them?
I have not.
They're delicious. They are worth the wait.
See, that's the... Well, here's what we're going to do. That we're going to pause, come back. We'll give you a preview on what 9 to noon has ahead of it at the Minnesota State Fair. We'll get into the food conversation and put a wrap on 9 to noon. Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com brings us all of it.
You're listening to Nordo in for PA.
Got this text message, 64686, Bradshaw and Brian, KFAN text line. Nordo, Back to School, a Rodney Dangerfield classic. Was just talking about that movie a couple weeks ago because the dude who stars in the movie with him, he was in another movie in the 80s, and it was Legend of Billie Jean. You ever watched either of those movies, Brett?
I've only seen a bit of Back to School, and that's because my dad was an extra in it because they filmed it in Madison.
Your dad was an extra in
My
Back
dad
to
was
School?
an extra in Back to School.
Like if I go to IMDb or something, would he be uncredited?
I don't think so.
Oh, well,
But they just had a bunch of students basically, hey, walk over this bridge. And from Madison.
Production meeting here.
There's no way he's
IMDb.com. The point was to the texter, it was Keith Gordon. By the way, Legend of Billie Jean, mid-'80s. I don't remember exactly what year. Elite Christian Slater movie. Maybe you should check it out. Okay, we got Back to School.
It's not going to be there.
Come on, uncredited. Let's get a Blakemore. Come on.
What if it just says, like, University of Wisconsin students? That would suffice.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Blakemore on the list here.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Credits order, verified as complete. Let me see here. Oh, we're cruising down. A lot of nameless, faceless. Okay. Yeah, that's an L. All right, never mind.
Okay.
But your dad was to the point where if I watched the movie, could you point out where he is?
I know what cut he's on.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's one of those, like, B-roll shots where, like, you see campus life.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he'll go, I was on that bridge somewhere. I go, oh, okay, cool.
Well, that's terrific.
Hey, sure, Dad.
So on the bridge, B-roll, do you know what part of the movie?
I think early on when they're, like, establishing the school.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was filmed at Wisconsin. They just said, hey, show up and be in the movie.
All right, we're gonna take a peek at that at a later point in time, so we can identify a Blakemore sighting in, again, Rodney Dangerfield, a classic. Back to School, of course, Caddyshack in the mix, many others. Rodney Dangerfield, what a character. State Fair, you mentioned it. I don't eat a lot of the food there. I know one might look at me either in studio or if you see me out in the wild. You'll look at me and you'll say, hey, that's Nordo. That's a guy that has sat in line for an hour for some Amish donuts. There's no chance. And while he's in line for the Amish donuts, he's holding it like a football, a bucket of Martha's cookies. I don't eat sweets. I genuinely don't. So, but the fair is upon us. It starts tomorrow. I wonder how people's schedules are kind of messed up. You don't have to worry about this, Brett, but maybe your gal does, who cares for kids.
Yes.
That because of the late Labor Day, For instance, my kids are going back to school this Monday before Labor Day. Usually it takes place after. And so I wonder how that messes up people's fare schedules. But with that said, 9 to noon, it is our proud duty and honor every single year to be the very first show to broadcast from the fair. And just kind of rolling in for a lineup here tomorrow, the first show out at the fair at 9:15. If you're looking for elite Timberwolves intel, you're going to find it from Dane Moore, who covers the How, Elite NBA Mind. We're going to pepper him with all the questions in relation to, is it Kuminga? What's up with LaMelo Ball? All the trips overseas and the brotherhood and the chemistry that's being built. Fun conversation with Dane at 9:15. And then Kevin Gorg at 10 o'clock tomorrow. He's going to be on site at the fair. Hockey and horse racing and just a potpourri of love with KG. And then at 11 a.m., it's actually, we sign off. So we're on from 9 to 11 tomorrow because the PJ Flex show is going to take place at the booth at 11 a.m., and that's going to feature Justin Guard and, of course, the voice, the Vox of Gophers football, Mike Grimm. So that's our show tomorrow. And then PA and everybody, they're headed to Denver for Friends and Family Night. Mile High, i.e. a third preseason game. And so Charch and I will be running the show on Friday. That's going to be Chad Greenway is going to be in the mix early on in the show. And then Lieber and PA from Denver, a bunch of football and fantasy-related talkers. It'll be fun to be doing radio with Charch in person versus his rest stop / nuclear bunker location that's still just unnoted somewhere in Utah. Monday, Alec Lewis. Radio Vox, Joe O'Donnell. Tuesday, Pat Micheletti. And then we got the great NFC North debate. So your guy, Sinekin, and you know what? I don't know why we've never included you in the great NFC North debate, Brett.
I don't want to step on Sinekin's toes, but, I mean, I'm interested.
You'd participate if asked. Okay.
I would.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
If I remember this conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe next year. But Jason Hatch, our buddy, is going to be representing the Lions, Cindy the Pack, Lavelle the Bears. That takes place at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And then Ryan Burns, who covers it's Gophers Gazette. He covers the Gopher football squad just 2 days from opening night kickoff. He'll join us Tuesday. Really cool stuff happening on Wednesday with Dwight Lundeen. Just go search that name. Historic coach. Really cool backstory. There's a book in the mix. Dwight Lundeen's going to be joining us during the 9 a.m. hour on Wednesday. Tanner Morgan at 10. And then former Twins general manager Thad Levine is going to be with us as well. And then we're going to have Matt Lloyd from the Minnesota Timberwolves in the mix. And then on Thursday, it's Grimm, it's Gessling, it's Russo, it's Gophers football day. Pumped about that. And then PA and Charch on Friday with Anthony LaPanta. Maybe I'm efforting another guest who covers the purple with Greenway in the mix, PA and Charch, Anthony LaPanta, a lot of hockey-related conversation, and so much more. And so that's what we do. We try to fill those things up with as many guests as we possibly can over the course of the 7 days. And at some point later today, I believe the merchandise that's available at the booth is going to be released. You'll get a chance to get a sneak peek, plan your trip, and do all of that. Just really thankful for the chance to do it every year. We make all the jokes, and Friday morning, I'm probably going to be doing 20 minutes of free show because Charch just can't figure out how to get to the fair on time. And all of you listening, somehow every year you figure out, you rubes out there, you rubes like me, you figure out how to get to the fair. Somehow.